Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Um, After waiting for you to join the recording and listening to um, this music again, this waiting tone.
Uh, I think
Um,
that the pro- I think that the proper term is elevator music.
I I could be better.
Yeah, you only have to listen. Well, I have to struggle through applications, through links, through everything, while you're bubbling away in your wrath.
I'm not really sure how is it possible that you have like thousands of people following you on the internet and you're so clumsy in using tech. It's ridiculous.
No, no, no. It's because it's always you who make the recording. I would like to see you, how you deal when you have to join it.
So that's what we're gonna do next time. Just
Okay.
to be very clear. Even though I seriously doubt that your junk of a phone is, uh, a good choice for hosting the recording. But I, I'll do things for you. I mean,
Okay, we won't do it because I won't have enough memory to host the entire podcast episode. But man, seriously, you send me the Anchor link and it opens it in Messenger. I mean, idiotic Facebook Messenger. It should open in Anchor app, which I have properly installed.
Oh my God! But then just copy the link, paste it in your browser, and things will happen.
And yeah, like you're not hearing me, like it happened previously.
Yeah. Well, um, we can talk about that, or we can talk about uh, something more interesting, like any new dramas to end the
Oh
year
no,
with.
oh no, no, no. Let's treat our audience like kids who are witnessing their parents fighting, you know?
Oh, you mean that's how we started with? But
Well, that is
um,
how you always started. Come on, tell them, tell them, tell them.
yeah, my good mouse B over there is an absolute noob when it comes to using all forms of technology. I could just imagine him actually having decent content on YouTube. I could just imagine the lengths he would go if he was just a little bit tiny itty bitsy more well versed in just using like a phone at least. Um, but it is what it is. You can't
Okay,
have it all, I guess.
okay. And yeah, today evening I went to a stand-up show. It was great. My
Really,
friend was, yeah, my friend was performing. Um,
you went to a
I
stand
was,
up in Serbia and it was great.
no, it wasn't great. It was terrific.
Oh,
So
that's
anyway, at one
very hard to
point,
believe.
yeah, but trust me. And at one point, she asked, "Are there any IT guys here?" And like I don't know, 5 people or more from the audience, uh, leave their hands. Okay, great. First of all, IT people eat beep.
Oh, I
you
see
know,
why it was
yeah,
fun for you.
yeah, and she was like, "Oh, you IT guys, you're like, oh, we were at the conference, and then we had employee orientation, and then we had, we had fulfillment inquiry. Man, at my work, the fulfillment inquiry is that you have a bakery close by." Yeah, it
Yeah, look,
struck a
look, look,
chord.
look. Fact is, there's a lot of IT people nowadays, and everybody wants to be in IT because there's a lot of
Yep,
jobs in IT. And
yep,
especially here in Serbia, IT people are treated pretty good,
yep.
except by the government. But they're treated pretty good because there's a lack of very good IT people, and there's a significantly huge need for them. So
Yep.
I totally agree. I hate how programmers are being treated like they're something, and they're just a bunch of kids. Um,
Yep.
don't really know how to wash their hands. But let's skip that, right? The year is about to end, you know, and also I heard that, you know, in like 2 months or something there's gonna be like a World War III or something, you know.
Really? Between whom?
Yeah. Well, I've heard that because, you know, there was this you know, important church father monk who passed away, and, you know,
Okay.
kind of left this, um, you know,
Prophecy?
prophecy, you know, that, you know, 2 months after he's gone, you know, that's it. And of
Wait,
course, you know, as everything else, this is being, you know, chain mailed and, you know, forwarded via all sorts of messaging up, you know, communication applications, by the Orthodox Christians. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because of course, the guy never said anything about anything like that. But, you know, these things, they tend
they
to
get
spread.
around.
Yeah, they get around. And I was like, the comments that people leave, and I find one of the things that I put in my New Year's resolution list, which I'm making,
Yeah.
is that I'm gonna jump off of all Orthodox Viber groups. I can't.
You wait. You're a member of an Orthodox Viber group.
Yeah, but look.
What
To no, no, to my
the
defense,
toll
no,
house is wrong with you?
to
What the toll house is wrong with you?
my defense, it was a wonderful group, right? It was created
Was
by a friend of mine who actually passed away. It's going to be an anniversary, like in like right before Christmas, and, you know,
was
after she
he
was,
who made the prophecy?
it's she. And
Okay.
she, you know, while she was around, you know, she managed that. She's the manager, you know, basically
Yeah.
of that group, and she is such a, you know, somebody whom you really never forget. You know, such a
Yeah.
great, such a great Christian soul, and, you know, she was, you know, we all knew, like, she was, you know, she was the man when it comes to that group, and that group was really
Yeah.
wonderful. People would share good information. They would understand that, you know, throwing hundreds of photos into a Viber group with a bunch of people is not really the best way to communicate on a Viber
Yep.
group, and sharing all kinds of, excuse my language, shitty news
Yeah.
about this and that. But you know, when she passed away, you know, and people, kind of, you know,
Started sharing 100
yeah,
pictures over Viber.
well, you know, I guess people just, you know, it wasn't the same maybe without her. I don't really know, but it ended up being ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and people started adding other people, and the thing started growing.
Oh
And, you know, I
no.
stayed because of this. I don't really. It's muted. I mean, the group is muted for me. But, you know, every time I open Viber, I see like 50 or 60 or 1,000 notifications. You go
A-
in and you start reading it, and you're like, oh my god, why are you guys
Ain't
doing?
nobody got time for that. Oh
Well,
no.
dude,
Um,
yeah.
there's a mosquito in my room.
Oh well, that's. I think that's punishment for you for making me go through like 10 minutes of that elevator music.
Knowing that you're going through it is punishment enough, because while you're getting, angry, I'm like sweating and dying of stress while trying to resolve the issue that I didn't even
Oh,
cause.
you have a problem with me as well. Oh, so sorry, so
It
sorry.
goes with the flow.
I know. I'm known to melt snowflakes. So, and
Oh, man, that gave me I know, some horrible disease that you get when you hear something stupid. Oh no, no.
yeah. Humor points for you. Um,
Yeah.
but in any case, we haven't really talked for quite some time now, and we did want to.
Oh,
Uh,
guys, we We really wanted to, and
Yeah,
we really tried, but all the powers of cosmos were against us.
yeah,
Trust us.
like literally, and then just like up until a week ago, we were in different time zones as well, and it was very challenging. Even though we wanted to. I was visiting Los Angeles, and that's probably going to be my last visit to Los Angeles. Not my last visit to the United States, but probably my last visit to Los Angeles. It's too much.
Why? You were close to her.
Close to her. Who?
The her.
The her? What?
The her.
The her? Is that like something like divine feminine or some new age crap?
No, no, no.
No. To what then?
The famous female celebrity.
I don't know. Ellen?
No. Okay, that was random. Alan. Like, okay, sure.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. Like
Well, I bet you were closer to her than me anyway, so.
But anyways, who is it? Who are you talking about? Damn it.
Well, I promise by at the end of the last podcast, I won't mention her again. So.
B. I don't care about the promise. I'm like my curiosity totally crushes your promise. So who is it?
No. I promised, and they won't break my word. My word is like a stone.
Break your word right now. You need to break that
My
word.
word is like a stone, and when I say stone, I mean pumice.
You need to.
I mean pumice, that crumbly rock from the volcano that is so weak that actually floats.
Thor's hammer and rock that. So.
JM. I'll just give you the initials.
Oh, she's from LA, right?
No, she lives in LA.
Yeah, well, who cares? But it's
not you.
I thought it was somebody actually special,
famouser.
Yeah,
someone famouser.
Famouser, like an upper celebrity. Like does she have a star on the Hollywood Boulevard? No, right?
Well, she does have a wax statue in Madame Tussauds, so.
Okay.
Do you have a wax statue?
No. Look. I'm not a celebrity. I don't get to even measure up with these people, but they get to measure up with each other. And by that measurement, she's a lesser celebrity. They're like a lesser demon from from a role playing game.
Oh, by the way, we have to have a session or something over a podcast.
Like a D&D or something new age.
What something new age? Well, like what are you talking about? Like,
look. First of all, let me address our audience, whom you're constantly neglecting, by the way. Guys, if anybody is a Dungeons and Dragons fan and would like to partake a session or something, like a D&D session with B and myself, we might actually facilitate that. That actually might be fun. So yeah, might be. But anyways, speaking about LA, you asked me why I don't want to go back. Let me tell you why.
I didn't ask, but okay.
Oh, you didn't?
but did I? I don't remember.
I thought you said why? Actually, it was a part of you trying to mention Jenna Marbles so bad. Okay, I get it.
But it would be so funny if we go back and it turns out that I didn't ask you why didn't you want to go back, and it would. Well, okay, fine. You want to say it, fine. Why didn't you want to go back to LAM?
This was good. You see how I proved that you actually wanted to put Jenna Marbles in this conversation, and
I did.
I
don't deny it.
You ended up reversing it on me, as if I wanted to say something about LA. Which is perfectly fine because I do want to say something about LA. Yeah, go ahead.
But what if we have audience in LA and they get horribly hurt?
They get horribly hurt? No, I don't think so.
I mean, you actually avoided meeting them.
How do you mean I avoided meeting them?
Well, what if they wanted to meet the podcast members?
Well,
And you totally ditched on them.
they could have reached out, but nobody reached out, so I haven't ditched anybody. So
Yeah, but that's because the microphone messages are disabled.
microphone messages are disabled.
Yeah, on the main
What
site.
what is a microphone message?
Well, voice message. That's what I meant.
Oh, I love that definition. It's not disabled. It just doesn't work in all browsers.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Clap, 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 clap. And I'm pretty sure that that it it actually says that when you try to use it in non-supported browsers. And it's it's not the application's fault. It's just that simply put, browsers do not allow you to use your microphone. A lot of them
no, true.
actually just don't allow it.
Okay.
Like I think Chrome, which is what I use on like
How do you pronounce it?
iPhone. Chrome.
No, Chrome.
Sorry.
Chrome.
What is that?
Well, Google Chrome.
Why?
I like to pronounce things like an idiot. Like, actually,
So
guys.
you're serious right now. You say Google Chrome.
No, of course I don't. I say
Okay.
Chrome.
Okay,
But
thank God.
guys, I just want to give some background. In Serbia, there was a small controversy over the messaging app Viber,
Oh,
because people here didn't know if it was pronounced Viber as per English or Viber as per Serbian. So I started to pronounce Twitter as Twitter.
yeah. Well, there's one way to pronounce things, and there's the Balkan way of pronouncing things,
Of course,
which is very different.
straightforward.
And it would be Google Chrome maybe.
True. Actually, yeah. Actually, I never could understand, because I kept saying Archangel, and they kept saying Archangel, Archangel, and they actually hear the word Archangel.
Yeah.
And okay, Archangel, 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 fine. And I'm watching the Gargoyles cartoon, and they're fighting against an Archmage. And like, what? Who decides when it's ch and when it's k?
Yeah,
It does not work in my Balkan brain.
I know these things puzzle me as well, and there's a lot of them. But when I go back into the early days when we didn't consume that much content in English,
Yep.
we would pronounce everything like we would pronounce in our language, which is basically read it just the way it's written. So
Yeah.
like I remember being a kid in the 90s and playing Mortal Kombat, the game, and there was a cheat, and if for you to engage the cheat to turn it on, which was like the cheat was for you to be able to select one of the fighters that's not usually. I think like have to win the game to unlock it or something. God only knows. Everybody just wanted to play that character anytime you wanted to play. So you would have to type in the cheat, and the cheat started by you going into the options. And I remember, people would, like kids would memorize this, word by word, basically, letter by letter, or command by command. And one of the command was you need to go to options, and I remember. And then you go to options.
Oh no!
Yeah, exactly. And we would pronounce everything like that, right? Every single thing would be pronounced like that, especially when kids would share stuff like cheats or moves. Oh my God.
Up, left, richt.
Like literally, or they would just translate it to Serbian. But anyways, we're moving very wide
away from LA
and away from what I wanted to say, which is of course always more important than what you wanted to say, because everything you wanted to say, it's just Jenna Marbles this, Jenna Marbles that. So dude, I mean, like seriously, dude, you need to like find a new celebrity to stalk. Anyways, coming back to LA was my second time in LA. My first time was in 2016.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and when I was there in 2016, uh, you would smell marijuana everywhere on the beach. Like you go to the beach, you will smell marijuana, and you will see all kinds of things and people and blah blah blah. It
Okay.
was a bit of a freak show, but people in LA are pretty laid back, so it's not like you don't feel safe or something. It's
Okay.
fine. Uh, LA 2019, there isn't a single passageway, hallway, elevator, open road where you don't smell
Church.
marijuana. Well, not church. Okay, not church.
Thank God.
But dude, first of all, I was like, I was there for like 10 days, and this time I was the sole driver of the
Mm-hmm.
of the company,
Okay.
and I drove like 1,000 something miles during the entire stay there, which is like 1,300 or
Okay.
1,500 kilometers. It's a lot, man. I never drive that much here,
Yeah.
and dude, would you believe me if I said that every time I went out on a highway or something, I would smell marijuana on the road? It's like it's
Okay.
ridiculous. Like I did expect, because they legalized marijuana sometimes in
Yeah.
between my two um, travels, but dude, I did not expect to feel that smell everywhere, like everywhere
Well.
in a fancy freaking hotel, because why not?
Oh wow.
Everywhere, dude, everywhere. I would take a lift, which is the same as Uber. It's just another company that does the
Yeah.
same lift. And we take a lift, and people would go in completely reeking of marijuana. And because we used the shared, we're cheap bastards, so we used the shared ride thing. So we would pick up
Yeah.
passengers on the go. Um, so that was such a surprise to me, honestly, because it was just so beyond my expectations. And what also came across as very, very different was I took both times I took a walk, down the Hollywood Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this time I did not feel safe at all, especially since it was closing. It was like already dark at some point.
Yeah.
We started during the day, but it was it's winter there as well, even though it's not cold, but
Yeah.
the day is shorter. Dude, that was not good. I don't know how that happened, but Hollywood Boulevard is ridiculous. Like what happened? I don't know. There's a bunch of people, very shady looking, acting
Okay.
acting pretty crazy, smoking a lot of weed. And
Oh.
like that was the only place where we were struggling to find a restroom. In the States, and not in the States, but in California at least. I'm not really
Okay.
sure. I'm not really sure about the rest, but it's absolutely normal for you to walk into a restaurant or cafe. Well, do they call them cafes? Whatever. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and
Okay.
like simply put, ask them very politely, may I use your? It's absolutely culturally accepted thing.
Oh
As
man.
opposed to here in Serbia, people would be like, "Get the hell out of here!"
Yeah.
You can use the restroom, but you have to like order a drink or something. And Hollywood Boulevard, I actually had trouble doing my thing because they intentionally put out of order signs on their restrooms, because a lot of street people are constantly using / abusing them. I learned
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of got the impression after we went through like 3 or 4 coffee bean and tea leaf Starbuckses,
Yeah.
until finally I got to a working toilet in McDonald's, where the line was pretty big, and I had to wait. And somebody was squatting in the toilet, so they had to call security. It was a real freak show. I really
Oh
It was a
wow.
real freak show. Um, and yeah, I mean,
What happened?
I have a ton of impressions from LA again, but I don't want to bore you with that too
No,
much, but it's kind of
please do.
it's crazy. I hate what LA traffic, for example, is doing to people because my business partner, I'm constantly having this discussions with him about productivity and
Yeah.
or organizing things, et cetera, et cetera. So you can imagine how things look like when it's like 8 a.m. and we're like, hey, let's
Yeah.
go to the Manhattan Beach for breakfast. And we go and we get back and it's like 11 a.m. So you just wasted 3 hours to go get breakfast
Uh,
on a pretty place. It's I can imagine doing that in Belgrade. Like it would never take more than 1 hour. Like
yeah.
whether or not you're walking to get breakfast or you're driving to get breakfast because again you wanted to go to a special place or something. Like
Yeah.
everywhere I want to go in Belgrade outside of the traffic jams, the rush hour
Yeah.
thing, it's 15, 20 minutes tops. Anywhere I
Yeah.
want to go
Yeah.
in
That's true.
LA, anywhere I want to go in LA, it starts with 1 hour and 10 minutes as the minimum.
Yeah. Regarding that, Google urban sprawl, which is the way they were designing American cities, which is essentially causing all of these traffic jams. That's one. And there's a TED Talk, a really great one, that's called Building Walkable Cities, or
Mm.
just type Walkable Cities on YouTube. It's very interesting. And
Oh,
they found out that
kindly share the link. Kindly share the link.
yeah, I will. The point is, the more people walk within a city, uh, the healthier the city is. And I don't mean just healthier in the sense of people are healthier because they're walking, which is also true, but the city is better. There are less traffic jams. People get to places faster. Overall happiness is way higher, and so on and so on. Essentially, the exact opposite of how they were doing it in the U.S. for the longest time.
Yeah,
Because
I don't think it will work in LA, to be honest with you, because
yeah,
the thing about that city is it's geographically so spread out because
yeah,
they prefer houses, right? And
yeah,
everybody live, well, not everybody, but majority live in houses, and
yeah,
you have huge neighborhoods which are basically cities on their own, right? Santa Monica,
yeah, yeah,
it's practically a city. I think it's even considered like an
yeah,
inner city of the LA municipality or county or whatever. I
yeah,
can't really go into that many details because I'm not really sure. But it's actually huge, and
yeah,
since it's that huge, and how often do people have their jobs in their neighborhood? Not really often, right? So
yeah,
everybody has to drive. Like their metro is actually like bus plus tram. It's not really like an
okay.
underground thing, and it's it doesn't really work. It doesn't go to all the places that you need the thing to go.
Oh no.
So and everybody drives a car. So you can imagine tens of thousands of cars at any time just being on the road. Like we this was not my first time, so I absolutely knew what to expect and I didn't have any issues. But the first time I was in LA,
Cultural shock.
it was a huge shock. Like nothing shocked me about United States in general, LA pretty much nothing except traffic. Because
Yeah,
because all those like pictures you see online, like it's the holidays, people are just driving back and forth and you see like this endless stream of lights in two
yeah,
directions. Well, that's actually
yeah,
what happens every single day in Los Angeles, every single day. And that's ridiculous,
yeah. I agree.
honestly, sometimes I feel like I should have walked. Of course, you never walk in such a big city, and what we're used to, because we're constantly traveling through Europe, which is for us, it's much closer. So why would we even go, as we call it,
Yeah,
beyond the pond? The pond referring to the ocean.
Yeah.
Across the pond. So we don't travel that much across the pond because Europe is so much more accessible. And it's actually, sorry, people from the United States,
Yeah.
but it's actually much richer in, culture and history and blah, 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 blah. So we're used to when, navigating through European cities, even big European cities, you can actually walk places. And whenever you think you can walk when looking at Google Maps, for example, in LA, it usually means
Yeah.
you would have to walk for 2 hours because it's so big. You can't get
Oh
used to
wow.
the scaling within Google Maps, right? You
Yeah.
can't get used to the scaling. It's completely different. The default view that you get, which you're kind of used to in when navigating through different cities, you're kind of used to in Europe that you kind of have a feeling even before looking at asking Google how big is the trip. You kind of have a feeling how much time it's gonna take. But in LA, it's all you have to scale it up like 10 times easily, and
Um,
it's complicated.
I just wonder how even possible it is to actually walk in there.
Well, you go to
Is
walking areas and then you walk. For example, the Sunset Boulevard,
no,
Beverly
but
Hills.
is it? Yeah, but is it even possible, to transverse the entire city without the car? I mean,
No,
um,
no.
I don't mean just by length. I mean accessibility. Like, do they have sidewalks?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Endless, and
Okay.
look. The problem is it's just so huge,
Yeah.
right? LA downtown is a town on its own. I'm telling you,
Wow.
Santa
That's
Monica, a town on its own. It's I don't know, man. It's to be honest, my business partner lives in a very very nice neighborhood in LA,
okay.
which is called Playa Vista, and
Okay.
it's a rich neighborhood. Like when you
Yeah.
as you start driving away from it, you start seeing bars on windows, and you kind of get the picture.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I guess I don't want to talk too much about the trip. But I didn't fast while I was there, and I
Well,
actually,
the
well. Last time I was there, I was also during the Great Lent, and I did not ask for blessing not to fast. So I completely destroyed myself. It was actually,
you're an idiot.
yeah, I was an idiot. No, I know better. But this time I took blessing not to, to kind of put a pause on the Great Lent when I was there, which was a good move. And I even tried to stay, keto friendly,
Okay.
but to eat keto friendly food. However, it was something that is very shocking about the United States in general, as I was told.
Yeah.
They put sugar.
Sugar everywhere.
I thought we
Uh-huh.
I thought we put sugar in things, but dude, I went to like a place called, just to give you like an example, I went to a place called Whole Foods, which
Okay.
is pretty like I liked it. You can like get a hot meal
It
inside.
sounds nice.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm.
It really is. But man, they put labels with ingredients, which is also very very cool. But every single salad,
Has sugar.
lettuce salad, has something in it that has sugar, and like 30 other ingredients, different ingredients. It's and I actually, even though I didn't gain any weight, believe it or not. Um, I think I ate a lot.
It's possible. It's possible not to gain weight when you go to the US. When my friend Sonia went, she actually managed to lose weight
Oh,
somehow.
well, that's. But let me tell you this, right? You know what the problem is? If you want to really eat like good, you know,
Yeah.
healthy, you know, man, 40
You
bucks,
have to
40
do.
bucks per person
Oh
for a
no!
lunch.
Oh God,
No,
no,
no, seriously,
no!
seriously, dude, we tried a whole lot of things.
40 bucks
Look,
for a
look.
lunch.
I am a bit embarrassed to say this, but I don't care. But I don't care because it's just fun.
Okay.
Um, You know those diners where they would serve you on roller skates?
Yeah,
Sounds cool, right?
sounds.
I thought Hooters. Okay, so you know what that is, right? Okay. So look. Just give me some wiggle room to explain, right?
Oh,
Dude,
you're
look,
beyond redemption.
dude, we were super hungry, right? Super hungry.
Oh man.
And we kind of went on a tour because I didn't do that last time. We kind of went on a tour to
Okay.
eat in different
Man.
places. And just
Uh,
since I'm already mentioning that, guys, if ever in United States, not for anything or anybody or for any kind of money, you do not go into a Taco Bell. Never. Never.
why?
Go eat from a dumpster rather than going into Taco Bell. Just
Oh,
saying.
wow. Wow.
Just saying. But I was forewarned as well. Like I was warned about Taco Bell,
What's
but
wrong with Taco Bell?
everything.
Okay, I'm curious.
It's dumpster food. It's dumpster food.
Okay.
Just remember that. If ever in the States, which you will probably be when you go on a tour, you know,
Yeah.
um, fandom tour.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
for it.
okay. Well, I think that would be a good idea. I totally recommend it for you. But
By the way, Hooters.
oh yeah. Going back there. So guys, do not eat in Taco Bell. So uh, I was with Alex, my colleague, and
Yeah.
we were super hungry driving to Orange County, San Diego,
Okay.
and I was like, is there any other place which we haven't visited that like has a sound to it? I think we actually missed one, which is called Jack in the Box, but it is what it is.
Okay.
And I remember the word Hooters, and I'm like Hooters, and I start, envisioning girls on roller skates, and I was, serving,
Well, there
drinks.
were girls, definitely.
No, man, we're going into
No?
Hooters, parking. We're parking in front of Hooters, and we go in. First
And
of
then
all,
what happened?
first of all, we immediately see and understand because uh,
Were these transgendered girls?
no, they were not transgender. They were not transgender, but
Okay.
they were real girls, right? I'm a real boy. But we immediately understand that we kind of made a bit of a lapse in judgment.
No, no.
The first thing you see is them, right?
Okay.
Quote unquote dressed young girls.
Yeah, we'll be generous and call them dress.
Yeah, exactly. And then like a whole lot of male people, men, sitting almost completely concentrated around the bar.
Okay, I'll use this expression, male people.
Yeah, well, look,
Guy or simply guys.
Nowadays, you
Okay.
don't assume people's gender. Of course, I assume, and sorry about that.
Okay.
If you look like a man, I mean, sorry, but
Yeah.
in any case, almost everybody was concentrated around the bar, which very shortly revealed a blonde girl with pretty big
Hooters.
right? And I looked at Alex. He was like, he had a very specific type. But since we were extremely hungry, like I can't even describe it for you. We sat down and we were like, okay, let's try the food. And then what completely shocked us was one of these girls approached us and she sat down. She took a chair and sat with us, leaning towards us and very politely with a smile, asking us what we want to order. And I look at Alex, and he's like
Okay.
red. Look, both married men, two kids. uh, it's ridiculous. He
Two
later,
kids per guy.
yeah, forgot. And he told me later on that he looked at me that I was red, as well, which I totally felt like that. I was like burning. And like we ordered things, like I ordered like a burger and lettuce wrap,
Okay.
which is like keto friendly version of a brand. It was really, and even though we talked with some people from LA later
Yeah.
on about Hooters, because we were a bit embarrassed, wanted to see if no, nobody was embarrassed for us for that in LA.
Yeah.
Of course, here it was a different story. But the point was, they don't really recommend food in Hooters, and for us, it was actually good. So,
Oh, that's nice.
but a huge factor might be that we were extremely hungry. I told you that was a reason why we, moved forward when entering into Hooters and understanding, where we are.
Well, you know what they say, hunger is the best spice.
LOL. Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's a bit of an embarrassing story, but people make mistakes, and I don't know, just avoid Taco Bell. Everything else was pretty decent, even though some food was cheap and pretty much but
Have you been to International House of Pancakes?
no, doesn't really scream keto friendly, right?
Oh, yeah, right, yeah, yeah.
you know,
Well, if you ever ditch keto, IHOP is pretty good.
pretty sure I won't be going back to sugar anytime soon. It's just
Well,
life is better without sugar. That's all I'm saying.
so they say, but then again, why risk it?
Why risk it?
Yeah,
There's nothing to risk.
except ditching sugar. That's risk enough.
Well, I disagree because I eat a lot of sweets actually, which are keto friendly sweets, which do not spike insulin. I'm just saying, man. It's you don't really know what you can do when you make a lifestyle change.
Oh, I can't wait until you finally find that keto-friendly communion.
Oh no! I can't. People be crazy, man. Tend to like become very Nazi
Uh,
in pursuing their choices and imposing them on others. Like I can't. Like it's ridiculous. Like I can talk
okay,
about it, but I will never try to convince anybody. Like
true.
I will never try to convince anybody. Just like, for example, when people ask me about being Christian, like I will
Yeah,
never preach to somebody. That just to me it's ridiculous. Like it's, I will talk, I will answer
yeah.
just as I can, and if there's any work to be done, God will do the work. Like I don't have to. Anything else, I become this zealot.
Yeah.
Just imposing things on people which they can't really understand because they have a lack of perspective. Just like you right now have a complete lack of perspective on what it means not to be on sugar at all. And I accept that. It's absolutely normal to me. I didn't have that perspective. I had to go through a process. I had to try something new. I had to commit to something. I had to commit to an experiment, right?
Well, actually, I thought you would say that. I thought that you would say that I like perspective on technology. So kudos for you for surprising me.
Mm. But you do lack
Mm.
perspective on technology.
I finished law school, not whatever thing you finished. So shut up.
Yeah, look. I know, but
But what? But
man,
what?
a 7-year-old nowadays really
Am I a
knows so
7-year-old?
much, really knows so much about technology and how to use things. I'm here. I am worried about parental controls. And the fact that my kids are growing into a seriously freaky world of internet
Yeah.
everywhere, and
Oh yeah.
here I am, wondering about that, thinking about that, and I see kids who grew up with tech much more than we did, completely rocking it, really actually knowing what they're supposed to do and not to. I mean, there could be different factors, I'm not saying,
Yeah.
but
But
they learn to navigate this world in such a young age. That means they dude, I'm afraid of these next generations. Like, I'm
oh yeah, me too. Me too.
serious. That look, I'm in tech. Like, the best example, I grew up with tech. Had a computer when I was a kid, when other kids didn't. But man,
Yeah.
I can just imagine when I'm like 50. I can just imagine how things will look like, and I have yet to see how things will look like when I start not understanding new tech. Right?
Oh yeah.
It's so frightening.
That won't be fun.
Yeah, well, I see it. I see it in our parents' generation. They started using cell phones in like their what is it, 40s?
Yeah.
Cell phones. Like, I'm not talking about smartphones. I'm talking about cell phones. They used to actually use the home phone, and they still use it nowadays. They talk with the home phone.
Landline.
Landline. Yeah, well, home phone.
Yeah.
Why I
Home
you know
home
why I
phone.
why I call it like that?
Microphone message.
No, seriously. You know why? Why I call it the home phone? Oh my god! Look,
We're
guys,
all.
if you can't leave a microphone message, you can just write to us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. But the point is, I
We should. We should rebrand to L&M,
L&M.
Lich and Mummy, because we're that old.
Okay. You probably put yourself to be the leech, right?
Yeah, shit, I don't really care. They're dead and old and dusty.
Yeah, so what did I want to say, man? Like, you totally pushed me from my yeah, why I call it the home phone. You remember,
Yeah.
I was totally immersed into what I was talking about, which is the old phones, the old cell phones. You remember how you didn't have an advanced phone book, but you could only put name and number combinations. So you would have B mobile, B home, B work, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
people would start being seriously creative with that. But instead of like B home, they would put like B and then like that triangle, which is called a delta.
Okay.
Which kind of looks like a roof of a home.
Yeah.
And people get seriously creative, and that's how we remember things, right? And
Oh, that's nice.
call me on my cell phone or call me on my home phone, or we would say fixed phone, right? Because it's fixed.
Yeah.
It has a cable.
Yeah.
Even though some of them were wireless, but still they had a cable on the base, and they still do. I mean, these phones still.
Well, it only meant that the receiver didn't have the cable.
Yeah. Well, that being said, it's actually frightening, and kids nowadays, you give them a phone, the rotary phone. They don't know what that is. It looks like like, what is this Wheel of Fortune thing with numbers?
They're not so technically savvy now, are they?
Well, no,
Crack that.
They just don't
crack the enigma.
They just don't understand old tech. The problem with you, B, my dear mouse B, is that you don't understand current tech, which is kind of,
My dear L.
my dear L.
By the way, what did I want to? Oh, I wanted to say something regarding the. Oh yeah. Do you remember when cell phones first came to Serbia?
Of course.
People thought it extremely rude for you to have your sound on your cell phone on when you go into public transport. So
Oh yeah.
somebody's phone starts ringing, and everybody's rolling their eyes.
Yep.
Like, oh, look at this guy bragging that he has a cell phone. And everybody's like, oh man, and that person is either really doing that or dying of embarrassment.
Yep.
Man, and nowadays, man, if people are just not talking on their phone really loud, I'm like, oh, thank God,
Yeah,
thank
look,
God.
that's why we have noise cancellation headphones. Like this is this is how things work. You know, you can't really stand the noise. Everything's so noisy nowadays, and I was almost convinced to buy a pair of noise canceling headphones. Even though I usually I'm not. I work in my own office. I like,
Yeah,
but and I don't really walk to work. But I can imagine, people first of all going to work by a bus and public transportation.
yeah,
Like, man, I'd buy me that most expensive top Sony $300. Like
yeah.
that's how I would take care of that. Even if my salary was lower than that, I would still buy that because
Oh
because
yeah,
because nowadays it's really ridiculous. But honestly, one thing that I just remembered,
yeah.
um, I actually used to take a bus
Okay,
to work. I used to drive to work, and then I decided not to drive to work and to take a bus because driving, you always go through the traffic jam in the
yeah.
mornings, and then you pay a whole lot of money for parking in the center. I used to work in the city center, and I was
Okay,
like, even though I could afford it, it kind of sucks to spend all that money on that. I could spend it on something else, and I would probably be able to read if I
okay.
took the bus. And that actually ended up as a very good decision because I never read as much as I did while I was,
Oh yeah,
But there was a downside. The bus was pretty often very full, and
oh yeah.
even though like I have the Kindle White e-reader, which you can actually hold it. Kindle
Yeah.
Paperwhite, sorry. You can actually hold it in your hand. It's like a pocket-sized book.
Okay.
Still, it was not really easy to navigate and be
Hmm.
mindful of the backpack, and people not stealing
Yeah.
something. So it's I just remember that because I don't read as much nowadays. It's getting harder for me to read.
Me too.
The time that I get to actually read is usually at night, and at night there is nothing better to get you to sleep than a book. Just start reading it like
Then a boring book.
yeah, no, any book. Like 5 minutes into it, done.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now that you mention reading, I'm reading uh, the book by Elder Ephraim of Arizona. He died
Of course, you have to brag. You
literally a
have to
couple of days
brag.
ago.
You have to brag you're reading spiritual literature. You just had to say that.
Yes,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
of course. Anyway, he wrote a book, My Elder, Joseph the Hesychast, and he was also recently canonized by the Ecumenical Patriarchate. Oh man, the book is so good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the man's crazy, but
Why not? Why not? Why
he
not share? Didn't I give you a book to read?
no, you gave me the book. Oh, what's it? What's the name? Orthodoxy.
Oh yeah. By Peter Gilchrist or whatever.
Gilchrist, which is also
Oh,
great. I should return it to you by the time
so you
we
read
meet
it?
up
You read it?
next. I'm halfway through.
Oh, and you like it?
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
It's really fascinating.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah, but
mhm.
yeah, I mean, it showcases, the development and that's a search for the original church. It's really interesting, Um, so a warm recommendation on both books.
Yeah, well, you can return the favor by lending me that book, which you just
No,
nope,
no.
do it.
Okay, fine. But I have to finish it first.
Yeah. Also, I just watched the latest Star Wars movie.
Do you want to keep that for the next episode, though?
No, let's never, ever, ever talk about it. But during one of my long flights, uh,
Okay.
this was in the one we went back to from LA to Belgrade, which that we can talk about in the next episode because dude, we went through hell. I actually watched Aladdin.
Oh no.
Well, I didn't know what to do, man. I was out of ideas, and I can't really sleep in airplanes unless I take pills, which I never do because I hate artificial things that put me to sleep. I just can't. Like, I just
Yeah.
like somebody mentioned anesthesia, I will be like just, just I'm gone. Behind the corner. Anyways, oh my God, why are they doing that? Why
I don't
why
know.
are they destroying what's the good things from our childhood? Why? There's Jungle Book. There's whatever they're calling the new movie with animated animals thing. There's the
Okay.
new Aladdin. There's the new Lion King. Why are you doing this to us? How
Uh,
how dare you? How dare you?
how dare you?
How dare you spoil our
Yeah.
perfect childhood memories? These guys, whoever, I don't know really who, Disney probably, they should be sued. Like, we should make a petition between us, the kids of the 90s or something, and like sue the hell out of them for destroying our
No, but
childhood memories. What?
you can't fight the corp. You can't fight the corp. They're too
Come on.
powerful.
Okay, let's at least sue the guys who did casting. Like, let's sue them. Did you see the guy who, like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like,
Which guy?
the guy who played Jafar, whoever that is.
Oh no.
Are you no,
No.
no, seriously, are you kidding me? Is that acting actually? Is
Uh,
it like,
okay, but Will Smith was great.
well, he was great, but Robin Williams?
No. Wait. Just okay. He wasn't Robin Williams,
Well, of
but he was
course.
doing his own thing, and that was good.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
wasn't trying
yeah,
to pretend to
yeah.
be Robin
Now
Williams
the genie
or
raps.
Robbie.
The genie now raps. Oh my God, that's so awesome. That's like so 21st century. Oh my God, oh my God. And also,
Oh my god! Oh my god!
she guys.
A
Sorry,
sultan.
sorry for spoilers, but
Oh,
really, really, if you value your time, and especially if you're close to our age and value your childhood memories, do not watch Aladdin. Do not do this to yourself. Go to Hooters or eat in Taco Bell, but don't watch
M.
Aladdin.
When she said in the movie that she wants to be the next sultan, I mean, you should have seen me. Like, I was like, dude, if you actually said that to a sultan, even if you were his daughter, you would have a silk cord in your neck in a second. Like,
Yeah, but
just thinking about it.
yeah, but it had to play out like that because 21st century and girl power and diversity, inclusion, tolerance, acceptance, and all the keywords, gender equality. Did I miss anything?
Okay, this is as good a time as any, but I made my own webcomic.
You made your own webcomic?
Yeah, and it's practically Instagram exclusive.
So this is like something you published?
Yeah, it's on Instagram. It's called Side Project Comic. It's exactly what it says on the tin. But why am I mentioning this? Because a recurring joke that I keep making is Maleficent cursing a baby. So first, she like curses Aurora. That's the first joke. The second one, she attends the Nativity of Christ.
Okay.
But the third one is like Mickey Mouse dressed like a wizard, sorcerer's apprentice, saying,
Okay.
I do want to bestow a gift and a child. Okay, I really can't do his voice. And there's like Maleficent, like a baby, and her parents. And then he starts cursing her like, "Your child, your child will feature in a cult classic." And then they're going to make a live action version of it, and like her parents, like, "Oh, you monster!" Because
Oh,
that's true. Like all of those live remakes. I mean, Maleficent, like Lion King and Aladdin were practically, by the book. Maleficent tried to make and Beauty and the Beast. Well, whereas with Maleficent, they tried to make something original, and boy, was it bad. Like I really understand why they tried, why the new movies are practically 3D carbon copies of originals.
yeah. You know what?
Oh man,
Let me share a piece of wisdom with you. So,
please do.
in my personal opinion, one of the biggest problems we're having as the entire humanity, like the entire
Yeah.
humankind, is we're supposed to be, all of us are supposed to be one of a kind, and that's the
Yes.
only thing you have, right? Your personality, your person, your unique
Yeah.
self, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes,
presumably,
is Euless.
presumably, uh, stop it.
Presumably.
Presumably, that's basically all you're left with when you're leaving this world. Whatever
Yes.
whatever kind of person you've built yourself to be.
Yes.
But today, everybody strives to be a copy of somebody else.
Yeah.
They follow this or that guru, influencer, celebrity, Instagram machine, blah, 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 blah. They want to be like them. They want to drive the same car like they do. They want to visit the same places they do. They want to do the same thing everybody else does because it's a thing for you to take a photo on this specific place in Venice, or it's a thing for you to do this on that place. Like everybody just copies everybody else, and
By the way, speaking of that, do you know? Did you watch Joker the movie?
no, not yet. So
Okay, but you've probably at least seen a screenshot of that scene of the Joker like laughing on that
yeah,
staircase.
yeah, yeah. So everybody goes to that staircase and laughs. Is that the point?
Precisely.
Yeah,
So
of
much
course.
that the guy who lives next to that staircase started throwing eggs at people. Poor guy, poor guy.
Yeah, because
I totally understand
yeah,
him.
they should have taped that in a studio.
Oh yeah.
But they probably chose a live set, and that's what happens.
Well, you can't know what will become memeable these days.
Yeah, well, but these days you can also assume that everything will become memeable. But
Everything can become memeable.
and likely will. We can coin a new saying right now. If it can be memed, it shall be memed.
Meme. By the
Um,
way, notice one thing. You know the first generation memes like troll face and
yeah,
fu guy.
absolutely.
They completely disappeared. Like
Yeah,
maybe Trollface appears occasionally, but barely
yeah,
him. Derp, Derpina,
yeah. But
like
but but
they're all gone.
nowadays you have applications and you just like I don't know, like Walking Dead season 6 episode 2 scene this and that. And then it gives you a screenshot. You just input text and bam, you have a meme.
Oh yeah,
So
true.
it's technology just made things different again, and
Yeah,
made them simpler, but then again kind of killed the original vibe about it. But then memes.
yeah.
I gotta read that comic book, that web comic of yours. By the way, if
Do you
it,
have Instagram?
no, I don't, and we'll probably never have it. But what I do have is
Uh,
the Instagram account of our podcast, and I can
oh yeah, right.
and
Yeah, you have that.
yeah, so I will just use that because Instagram, you can't really just browse through things without having an account.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, I'll be a deer, and I'll actually follow the my own side project comic by our by our podcast
Yes,
Instagram,
B.
so you can easily
Yes,
find it.
B. Please be a deer. Dear B. Anyways,
Dear B, be a deer.
I
Dear
just,
B, be a deer. I like that one.
depends on the spelling. But why? So what I've actually wanted to say is, as everybody's used to copying everybody else and not really
Yeah,
being original,
yeah.
the people. First of all, this is why original creators succeed, because they stand out from a seriously boring crowd of copycats. Um,
Yeah.
and that's why they succeed. But the thing
Yep.
is, with the movie industry, like, they're resurrecting every single thing that ever worked is getting resurrected. Every single movie
Uh,
that worked in the past is getting resurrected. Thank
uh,
God they can't
as
resurrect. They
zombies.
can't resurrect Back to the Future, because they can't.
Yeah.
But thank.
Well, they did sort of with Rick and Morty.
No, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. That's a parody. That's a parody
No,
type of.
but that's a parody, but it's sort of, derivative of Back to the
It's
Future.
not. It's not. It's not.
But actually it worked. But it worked.
Yeah, yeah,
It
but you
it
could
was
never do a
it was
movie.
original.
Yeah, you can never do a movie like that, obviously.
No,
Uh,
no, no, no.
but they keep resurrecting, and they keep I don't know, man, squeezing and squeezing certain topics. Like I'm not a fan of the Marvel world movies,
Oh no,
but
me
there's
neither.
a ton of them. They're all absolutely the same, squeezing on every topic. Every character gets their own series of movies, and they are piling them dollars up, which really I don't get it. How does this work? Like, it's completely unoriginal. It relies heavily on CGI, and relies heavily on giving the audience what they want,
Um,
which means those movies suck. Um,
let me introduce you to the wonderful concept of kitsch.
yeah, thank you.
I mean, that is, when I don't know what's the movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. At one point, it became one of the top rated or top earning something something, and they were like, oh God, no,
It
why?
is, but it's a
I
decent movie when you compare it to the others. But yeah, the thing is, I have so many friends which are like fans of the comic books and all that, and it's like, oh my God, you can't talk, bad things about Marvel. Oh, and it's so boring. It doesn't, these motion pictures, they don't have a soul, right? That's my
uh,
problem. That's my problem.
Martin
The
Scor
character development is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I also watched the newest Spider-Man. I also watched the newest X-Men. There's nothing to do really when you're flying for like 10 plus hours, and it's like I'm watching the same movie, right? It's just like
surprise, surprise,
I'm like really like I'm watching the same thing over and over again. And by the way,
stuck in a loop.
same goes for Star Wars. Oh my God, every single template they could have used, they absolutely did.
Can I interrupt you and request that maybe even tomorrow we record a movie episode?
Yeah, you think I was going too far with this?
Why not?
As far as
I
episode worthy,
I think it is because we can talk about our favorite genres, movies, and our least favorite movies. I think it will be
yeah.
fun.
Yes and no, because I actually forget. Somebody has to remind me, like, "Hey, did you watch?" And I was, "Oh my god, yes, I watched. It was great." Or, "Did you watch?" "Yeah, I wish I haven't." That's usually
Uh,
the way it goes.
I saw a tweet that really made me laugh. Something along the lines of, "My social life basically consists of people telling me, 'Did they watch that movie?' And they say, 'No, I didn't. I didn't watch that movie.' And they say, 'Oh, you have to watch that movie.' And they say, 'Okay, fine, I'll put it on the list.' But there's no list, and they never watch the movie."
Yeah, in my case, there's a list, and I actually put things on a list, and I put.
Me too, but the list is growing way faster than I get
Yeah,
to
I
actually
know, I
empty it.
know, I know. But honestly, I put the names of people who recommended it to me, and that's how I prioritize. And basically, there are movies that I haven't watched for a decade. considering
Oh
considering
God.
that the person who recommended it is obviously at the very bottom of the food chain when it comes to.
I'm glad that you, like me, rank your friends
No, I don't rank my friends. I just rank their recommendations. Um,
based on how I rank them.
no, look. I have this friend. Every single piece of content he's ever recommended to me was utter. There's no word.
Garbage.
There's no word, right? So let's settle for garbage. And
Okay.
and
Wow.
he is actually, while we had a lot of mutual friends, we are getting older, and people are just disappearing, and then while we had a bunch of friends, shared friends, we he was actually he started recommending stuff to people, and everybody kind of started sharing the same opinion. He's actually well renowned as the guy who tells you what not to watch.
Oh
uh,
wow.
yeah, so it's like when you're thinking, like, should I watch this movie, and like he's like, yeah. You immediately you cross it off the list, and then you don't have to watch it ever. So
Uh,
that's a pretty good.
what did he recommend? What did he recommend, for example, if you remember
Oh, I
something?
don't remember, but honestly, these are the things you try not to remember.
Oh man.
Everything was crap. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Like, I'm not giving you a real example. I'm giving you what
Okay.
could have been his recommendations. American Pie, any of them.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, now you get it, right?
Okay, yeah. So not something that you would be proud to have actually spent your time on.
Yeah, it's usually, look. This happens to me, right? I want to watch something. I
Hmm.
start watching it, and it's utter garbage, as you say, and I just,
Yeah,
I just stop. Not gonna
yeah.
waste my time. Like, I have a friend. She, whenever she starts watching a
Hmm.
movie or a TV series, whatever, she has to finish it. Like, you will give her, like, I don't know, documented genocide movies, real life footage. She will watch through. If she started watching it, you know,
Yeah.
she will finish it. And
I tend to be like that, but that
no,
means that if I stop watching something, it's really
man, I've
bad.
stopped watching so many different TV shows after wasting 30 to 45 minutes of my life to watch
You
either the pilot or I was wrong
you c-
only once. Only once I
uh
was wrong. I can tell you what TV series it is if you want to.
you can say that all that time was lost.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to do, but I don't care. I don't care about Lost. Um, but
What show was it?
the only one that I was actually really really wrong about is the show called Outlander, which
I haven't seen it.
started so damn boring,
Hmm.
and especially since it starts in a period of time which is everything I watch that's set in that period of time is extremely boring. I'm not even sure.
Hmm.
I'm not even sure what period that is. Like, it's after one of the big wars. I'm not really sure, but it's just like awful. Guys,
Mm-hmm.
men carrying hats and constantly being in suits, women being kind of undermined or something.
Mm-hmm.
But and the beginning of that, those it was just so ridiculously boring. I just stopped watching. But then my wife kind of went, later on she went pretty
Mm-hmm.
far, and like she watched like a couple of seasons, and I was like, okay, if she's so much into it, and it's not like True Blood or something like that. Um, let me give it a shot, and I gave it a shot, and it actually turned out to be a pretty good TV series.
Well, I'm glad because it rarely goes in that direction. It usually goes downhill.
Yeah, usually does. I mean, I can probably tell you what to avoid. If I go to my Netflix history,
Oh yeah.
one of the big problems, and this is where I will end about this. Um, One of the problems that I have with Netflix and with shopping applications, I will accidentally play something on Netflix, which I would
Okay.
never play. Not in
Okay.
my life. I would never play that, but I will accidentally play it, and it will remain in my continue watching list. What seems to
Mm-hmm.
be forever, right? Eventually, at some point, Netflix will remove it. But
Okay. Oh,
boy, that annoys the hell out of me. And for example,
of course.
on AliExpress, which is a shopping application,
Mm-hmm.
one time I recently clicked on something that I can only describe as like a sex toy. I don't really know what it is. I don't want to describe it, but I accidentally clicked on it,
Okay.
and apparently it was enough for the algorithm to keep recommending similar things to me.
Oh God, no.
And I was like, and it takes a lot of time for it to stop. I actually started fooling their algorithm by starting to click on some irrelevant thing just so that I can get those in recommendations, as opposed to
Yeah.
a bunch of sex toys. Um, uh, like I don't even want to go there, but it's really not cool. And that's it. I know there's nothing I want to say about that anymore.
Okay.
I feel you're tired.
I know. I am. Wanna
Oh,
continue tomorrow?
I don't know, man. But we recorded like for like an hour and 15 minutes.
I know, but we need to talk about movies.
Yeah, and I could talk some more about my visit to LA. There's a lot of things I'd like to mention. So yeah, we might actually continue this tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, B, thank you for finally finding the time to put me through that awful music again, and then rescue me from it, and then mention Jenna Marbles. Um,
Wow. You went to pilgrim to the city of her
pil-
dwelling.
pilgrimage, pilgrimage. The
It
my highlight was supposed to be going to the divine liturgy, um, and
was
then and
super.
ended up being super lame.
Oh man, we need to make that second episode because you clearly have a lot of impressions that you have yet to share with us.
Yeah,
And
the last time I didn't really enjoy. I didn't really um, discover things that much. I actually went to work and I worked a lot. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Have a good night. I said have a good night.
you have a good night too, M.
You're t- you're, you're totally either falling asleep as we're talking, or you're reading like a web comic or something.
No, actually, because when you said you have a good night, I actually thought for a second that you lost connection because it sounded like that, and and then you mentioned again, like, okay, he didn't.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You're just making excuses for doing something else while talking to me, right?
Perfection requires no excuses.
No excuses. Okay. Really, again, enjoying talking to you, man. Appreciate you, and
You too.
have a great night.
You too, M. See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.